Are things about to change for you, silver investor, gold investor, precious metal mining stock investor? 2024 has started with a lot of difficulty for the prices of gold, silver, and precious metal mining stocks, but are things going to change throughout the rest of the year? Let's take stock of what we've been through so far this year. What's caused this horrible price environment for the precious metals and the mining stocks? But then let's talk about what we know for a fact is coming down the pipe for us in 2024 and how that could change everything. You've been subjected to some big news stories so far in 2024. But if we look at these news stories through the lens of the silver price and gold price, they have all been bad. The first data that we received was Q4 GDP data, which blew away expectations because we know Bidenomics, it's working. But when we peel back that number, we see some interesting components were used to create this supposed unbelievable Q4 GDP number. Things like recreational vehicle sales going through the roof, the price deflator that they used to manipulate the number. Let's just move on to the next crazy piece of data that we received, and that was the January jobs number. It blew away everything. But when you peel away the seasonal adjustments that went into that number, there was actually millions of jobs lost in January. The next thing we had was the Fed meeting. That was held just a little while ago, and the Fed came out with more of a hawkish tone. Again, a negative influence on the price of silver and gold. And of course then, the Federal Reserve, which, does it feel like to you they become more of a public relations firm than a bank? They sent out all their governors the following week to reiterate their message that we may need to keep interest rates higher for longer. All of these news stories pushing down, applying pressure on the price of silver, gold, and in particular, the precious metal mining stocks. And then the icing on the cake, just recently, we got news that inflation had gone up. When the market was looking for a lower inflation reading, we heard that inflation is indeed ticking back up again. And of course, all the Wall Street people in their twisted logic, to them, that means that the Fed will have even more reason to stick with the higher interest rates for longer. Again, those four factors so far in 2024 have created a little storm, a disruption in what had been developing as a conducive environment for the precious metals prices. But what about if we look into the future? That's what silver and gold do anyway. Remember, they've been around for 5,000 years. Anything that's been around for 5,000 years as a market has developed a keen sense of wisdom. Our channel sponsors make this video possible. First Mining Gold. You can check them out at firstmininggold.com. They're a Canadian gold development company. They have 13 million ounces of gold in the ground in Canada, and Fortuna Silver Mines, which is actually more of a gold mining company now. They have 5 operating gold mines around the world. It's a fascinating story. You can learn more about them at fortunasilver.com. Do you feel like the economy's really all that great? Do we believe the numbers that our government is telling us? We know companies like UPS, FedEx are reporting freight volumes going down. Everywhere we look, we hear about layoffs, but supposedly everything's great. And I want you to consider this as well. There's a lag effect that occurs when the Fed raises interest rates. It takes 6 months to 18 months for the full impact of an interest rate hike to be felt in the economy. We are in the eye of the storm right now, feeling the effects of the record level of interest rate hikes that the Fed undertook over the last 2 years. As we move through this year, as those lag effects start to have their impact, we could see even more economic turmoil, which will force the Fed to ease up even faster on economic or monetary policy and will create a huge tailwind for the price of silver and the price of gold. And what do you think the impact of stealth QE, yes, you heard that correct, stealth QE coming to an end? And what I mean by that is the Bank Term Funding Program, which was nothing more than a bailout, a form of money printing that the Fed and the Treasury instituted when we had that banking crisis back in early 2023. That will be coming to an end in March of 2024. Combine that with the fact that the reverse repo program, which has been injecting huge amounts of cash back into the banking system to the tune of almost $2 trillion over the last year or so, that is coming to an end as well. There's less than $500 billion left in that fund right now. That creates a combination of factors coming down the pipe that, on top of the lag effects we already talked about, could prove very difficult for the U.S. economy to prevail. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, or platinum, do yourself a favor and check out Pimbex, the online precious metals bullion dealer and sponsor of Ron's Basement. I was a happy customer before they offered to support the channel. You'll find they have the best prices, quality, and service. I think Pimbex is best, and you will too. And be sure to tell them that you're from Ron's Basement. Now, there's even more when we consider that the commercial real estate crisis that everybody's actually talking about and recognizing, that will start to come to a head as we move into 2024. And what do you think about residential real estate? We are in a frozen residential real estate market right now. Many of you, including myself, own a home, so we have an interest in what's going on there. But I think we could be in for some interesting times as we head through 2024 as it relates to residential real estate. Consider this fact. It now takes 5.5 times the average American income just to afford a house. 5.5 times. Guys, nobody can afford these high housing costs. So when we look at what's gone on in 2024 so far, it's been difficult for precious metals investors. But if we look at what's coming down the road, we could see some major factors that, if they come together, could create an environment where you and I will be glad that we made the decision to invest some of our wealth into precious metals, into precious metal mining stocks. One thing for sure, it's going to be a bumpy ride. I want you to come back to the basement. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Most important, be well, and come back and visit me in the basement soon. Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Basement, live on the log flume with Lily. Lily, say hi.